When someone has their art form, you really have to put that art into one bucket. That's their art. And then you've got the individual as the artist. These two things I've personally, and I'm not saying you should do it, I've personally had to separate. What I'm trying to say is you can still appreciate the art, but not respect the artist. Hey everyone, it's Opie here for another podcast where I talk about health, wealth and happiness. So today I went to coffee with a bunch of people and the topic of Tiger Woods came up. Well, Tiger Woods' mother, she passed away recently, and one of the guys chimed up and goes, I don't like him. And I'm going, oh, okay, do you don't like him playing golf or what's the deal? He goes, no, I don't like him at all since all that stuff happened with the women. I'm going, okay, but you still reckon he's a good golfer, right? He goes, no, I hate him now. And I'm going, it's a bit weird. And I stepped back and started thinking, what's going on? And it clicked to me that this person hadn't realized the difference between the artist versus the art. Okay. So I sort of worked this out for myself a few years ago where I was DJing and I'm playing a Chris Brown song and one young lady came up and just started chewing my ear off going, oh, don't you know what he did? Turn this rubbish off. I don't want to listen to this person's music. And I'm being kind here, but she was just going off and I was just going, what, I can't do this right now. Let me mix out the song and I'll deal with you in a second. Mixed it out, and then she goes on a tangent about how he mistreats women and so forth, which I agree is not the right thing to do, obviously. And this sort of became a reoccurring theme. There was issues with R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, and when we go to the movies like Bill Cosby, and I'm going, where does this end? How do I'm going to run out of artists to play, and as a DJ it's a real problem, right? And people are going, oh, can't play Kanye's music either because they've got issues with him, and I'm going, this is not on. So it took me a real sort of thinking into how do I sort of separate the two, and it just occurred to me, I guess, when someone has their art form, you really have to put that art into one bucket. That's their art. And then you've got the individual as the artist. Okay. These two things I've personally, and I'm not saying you should do it, I've personally had to separate. So what I'm trying to say is you can still appreciate the art, but not respect the artist. And that's the way I've reconciled, and that's why I can, still play a Michael Jackson song, or, I don't know if you've ever been to a party where R. Kelly's Ignition is dropped, towards the end of the night, it just goes off. And of course, I'm not condoning what he did and all the other stuff that goes on, but we have to make this distinction because there are a lot of imperfect humans out there, and that's all they are. And once again, and this is just my method of reconciling and coming to terms with how I approach this world. But that's the same thing with when we go back to this Tiger Woods character, we can acknowledge that he's one of the greatest golfers of all time, right? I mean, this is not really my opinion. Statistically, he is. Of course, his act of what he does in his private life, I don't condone it. That's him as a person. We can go on, like, and there's Pablo Picasso as an artist. He had his own issues, and then you can go on to Elon Musk. He's got his own issues, but is he a super genius? Yeah, which other person in the world is running 5 individual billion-dollar companies? Like, just doesn't happen. So you have to sort of separate these two, and once you do that, it becomes really easy to sort of accept the world for what it is and enjoy it as well. I mean, especially when it comes to music and other things, you can just go, hey, this guy, don't like him, but I'm going to still watch his movie because he's a good actor, right? And that's how I've done it. Anyway, I hope you got something out of this, and see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.